The only thing, and I mean the only thing that separates us human beings from all other animals, from dogs, from cats, from cows, from sharks, the only thing that separates humans from other animals are our minds, our ability to think. Yet the odd thing is that 99% of people don't use their minds. 99% of people don't use the things which actually make them human. And you'd be like, no, of course everyone uses their mind. But what I mean by not using your mind is using it to your fullest capability. See, most people only use about 10% of their minds. They only use their mind to do meaningless tasks, to go through the day saying, to-do list, to do that, to do that. They don't use their minds to think creatively, to think outside the box, to tear down that box. And now I'll ask you a question. How often do you think? And what I mean by think is giving yourself about 30 minutes to sit undisturbed, no phone, no distractions, just maybe a pen and paper. How often do you do that? Because the truth is some of you have never done that. You may be 20 years old watching this. You would have never thought. You would have never given yourself time to sit down and think. And I was reading somewhere, I have no idea if this is true, but for the sake of this video, it's going to be true. The average person only thinks about twice a year. Twice. So what that says is that the average person only does a thing which makes them human twice. If you're watching this video, there's a high likelihood that you want to achieve something, to do something great with your life, or at the very least you just want to improve your life, right? So when you want to achieve something or improve your life, you have to look at the people who have done it on a greater level. You have to look at all the greats. All these people, I know for a fact, right? When you think about all these people, you don't envision them just doing mindless tasks the whole day. No, I won't even assume things for you. When I think of these people, I see them sitting in an office all by themselves, just thinking about their next move, thinking about how to engineer their car, thinking about something that is important to them. And I see them doing this every single day. You see, back in the day when people were discovering fire, the first automobile, all those things, they didn't have social media, they didn't have all these things to constantly stimulate themselves. They were forced to think, because sometimes there was nothing else to do but just sit down and think. These people were actually forced to think because during their times there was nothing else to do. They didn't have Instagram where there was an endless feed where you could scroll for 10 hours and you'd always see a new post. They were forced to think. And I actually think that would have been a benefit of living back then, that you were forced to think. You were forced to think about your life, to creatively come up with ways in which you can improve it. And look, of course, you can improve yourself without thinking. I'm not even going to deny that. If you watch, let's say like Hamza, you watch Iman Gaji, all these guys, right? And you blindly take their advice, you will improve. It's guaranteed. If you actually take the advice that they say, you will improve. The problem is you wouldn't have thought about how to apply that advice to your life, so you'll just become a clone of them. And when I say this, I'm speaking from experience. Watch my videos from 2-3 months ago. You'll probably think that actually you won't even think. You will know that I was impersonating Hamza. I was trying to be Hamza because I was taking his advice without thinking about how I could apply it to my own life. See, the reason we need to think is because, fair enough, someone will give you advice that works. That advice works and you should apply it to your life. But everyone has a different upbringing. We have different circumstances. We have different environmental factors which will contribute to our personality. We have different goals. So because everyone is different, you can't blindly follow the advice of other people. And if you do that, you'll become a clone. And I'm sure that no one wants to become a clone. As I say many times, God has gifted you this life. He didn't give you this life so that you could copy someone else. He didn't give you this life so that you could become a clone. He gave you this life so that you can live the life that you were supposed to live. We live in a world where you don't really have to win by much to get most of the rewards. And because you don't really have to win by much, the thinkers are rewarded. The people who can think about a way to do something slightly better are rewarded. So if most people in the world only think twice a year, what do you think would happen if you, every single day of your life, set aside time to think? You set aside 30 minutes to sit down with pen and paper and just think. What do you think would happen? What results do you think you'd be able to obtain? To be honest, I don't know. What I know for sure is that you'll be doing much better than everyone else. You'll be doing much better than people who do not spend time thinking. And that is about 98% of the population. And the reason why I say 98 is because I've met many people. Up until this point in my life, I can confidently say that I only know about 3 to 4 people who actually think. And who think for themselves. People who do not just adopt opinions of other people. Because you see, just because you think differently does not mean that you think. Just because you have an opinion that is not politically correct does not mean that you came up with that opinion. You can have different opinions and still not be a thinker. You're just a clone of someone who isn't like anyone else. Apologies, I had to stop the recording. Something came up. But anyways, as I was saying, out of all the people that I've met, I only know about 3 to 4 real thinkers. Not people with different opinions, people who have opinions that aren't politically correct. There are many of my friends who don't have politically correct opinions. But I only know of 3 or 4 thinkers, people who actually think for themselves. Thinkers are a rare breed. Thinkers achieve rare results. So if you want to achieve rare results in your life, if you want people to look at what you've achieved in a year and be like, how on earth did you possibly do all of that in 365 days? Become a thinker. Spend more time thinking. Because as I've said earlier in this video, your mind, your brain, is the only thing that makes you human. It's the only thing that you have that other animals do not have. So make sure you capitalize on the thing that makes you human, on the thing that God blessed you with. Make sure you use your mind, make sure you think every single day, because I promise you, once you start thinking, you'll blow everyone away. And most importantly, you blow yourself away.